general officers, faculty and course participants, Pakistan, the vanguard of our defense and the custodians of our sovereignty. Your esteemed institution reflects the essence of our armed forces, where discipline is fused with intellect and courage is molded into leadership. Pakistan owes its peace to you and offers you its deepest gratitude. I also extend a special welcome to our guest officers from brotherly and friendly countries, and I would like to say a sentence. أخواني الكريم من البلاد الإسلامية، طبعا من المملكة السعودية والعراق، أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. أنتم ضيوف لكن إخوان شقيق. Alhamdulillah. Your presence here is a reflection of the excellent ties that we are privileged to enjoy with our friendly countries. Let me commend the Commandant of this great seat of learning for maintaining the highest standard of training and extend my heartiest congratulations to the course participants for the successful completion of your training. Ladies and gentlemen, today the threats we face are no longer limited to conventional battlefields. They are multifaceted, ranging from kinetic warfare to cyber attacks, economic coercion to disinformation campaigns and hybrid threats that challenge both our borders and our ideological frontiers. The recent Indian aggression against Pakistan, violating our territorial integrity and targeting our innocent civilians, was not merely countered successfully, but instead we succeeded in turning the tables on those who are dreaming of establishing a new norm. On the diplomatic front, our offer of a neutral, independent, and credible investigation into the so-called Pahalgam terrorist incident was brushed aside by India, that knew fully well that such an investigation would only uncover the ugly truth. With its false allegations exposed, India resorted to unleashing its missiles against Pakistan on 6th of May. Our response, both on the ground and in the air, left India completely baffled and shell-shocked, particularly after its Air Force lost several of their highly prized aircrafts and missile defense system. The Indian leaders had no option but to concoct patently false explanation for their losses. India tried sneaking in once again in the wee hours of 10th May, but their frustration was obvious, loud and clear. That very early morning, I received a call from Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir. He sounded calm, poised, yet confident and fully prepared. Throughout this crisis, his bold, courageous, fearless, and inspiring leadership stirred the armed forces and galvanized them as a wall of steel. Surely he has entirely earned the rare title of Field Marshal. Our counter-strike Operation Bunyanum Marsus destroyed the enemy's defenses and shattered the myth of their military might. I must also acknowledge the heroics of our Air Force, led by Air Chief Marshal Zahir Ahmed Babar, who displayed exemplary professionalism in downing enemy jets with precision and accuracy. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan accepted the ceasefire offer brokered by the United States and other brotherly and friendly countries in the interest of peace, progress and prosperity in South Asia. More importantly, India's much wanted claim that they would establish a new norm was buried for all times to come by our brave armed forces. On top of it, these claims were ridiculed by the Indians themselves. In fact, Pakistan had given India a bloody nose as it suffered a serious setback in both warfare and finest diplomacy. The unprecedented synergy of our armed forces, the civilian leadership, and the indomitable spirit of our people, steeled by our faith in the infinite mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, granted us a glorious victory that will echo through the annals of history. In fact, it is Pakistan that has established a new norm in its relations with India. Henceforth, we should not allow her to behave in an arrogant and haughty manner ever again, inshallah. And if and when it does so, we will respond with full force. Nor will we ever allow India to weaponize water by holding the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. This is an absolute red line for us. I must mention, and without mincing words, that while we have succeeded on the military front, Pakistan continues to face major challenges in the fields of economy and governance as well. Let me recall back in April 2022, when I assumed the office of Prime Minister for a short while, about 16 months, just to illustrate the gravity of the situation at that point in time. International banks were refusing our letters of credit for our vital imports like energy and other very important imports linked to Pakistan's well-being. Another most serious was the threat of international lending agencies of walking away from what they perceived agree on a way forward. And as a result of that meeting in Paris in July 2023, we were able to sign a standby agreement with IMF, which averted an impending economic meltdown. Allah was absolutely, infinitely merciful and kind. Then again, assuming office now in March 2024, we lost no time to introduce major reforms coupled with cast iron guarantees to the lending agencies that we would not shy away from undertaking difficult, tough but very relevant, deep-rooted structural changes in our system and our administrative organization. And we undertook those very difficult decisions, and through that we were able to calm those fears of our lending partners. Today, alhamdulillah, we are witnessing the fruits of those sacrifices made by the common man of Pakistan. Inflation has plummeted from 38% to 0.3%. Our rupee stands stable. Official foreign exchange reserves have crossed $11 billion, and galloping interest rate, which was 22.5% in 2022, have come down to 11%. Simply put, a reduction of 50%. But my very respected officers, these achievements, significant as they are, represent only the beginning of a very arduous, difficult, thorny journey towards progress and prosperity. On the way, we will meet huge challenges like mountains, rivers. We'll have to surmount them. We'll have to cross those rivers through commitment, unwavering commitment to our nation, to our people. And that will require sacrifices, sweat and blood. Without that, no nation on the face of the earth was able to stand up from the ashes of defeat and touch the zenith of glory. Alhamdulillah, Pakistan at this point in time is flying high. Our morale is very strong. Our armed forces, with Allah Almighty's blessings and your wonderful, excellent professionalism and the nation's total support behind you, we have won a war against an enemy which was, in the eyes of our detractors, was unthinkable. But we have converted this unthinkable into a reality. And that is, I think, our finest hour in our history. But now is the time to use this moment and convert this moment into something this nation has been longing for, praying for, that when that hour would arrive, when Pakistan's economic progress and prosperity would be not only witnessed by them, enjoyed by them, but the world at large would stand up and respect Pakistan's grit and its hard work and its infinite efforts to achieve a point for which this country was carved out under the leadership of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and sacrifices of millions of people who crossed rivers of blood on the way. They lost everything in terms of human lives and properties, in this ardent hope that we will reach our destination, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, carved out of India with these great sacrifices, and they will enjoy a life according to their hard work, merit in the society. 77 years down the line, my very honorable professional soldiers, that dream has yet to be realized. But as they say, it is never too late. This is the moment has arrived. It's all up to us to catch this moment and convert into a success story unparalleled in the annals of history. Difficult, but not impossible. I can guarantee you by the grace of God. It only requires, we have everything in this country. Allah Almighty has blessed us with these great brains, courageous faces sitting in this room, and all over the country. Great talent, engineers, doctors, scientists, land, very fertile land, and natural resources. What we lack is the will to do. If we can really capture this moment, I can guarantee you, not only we will compensate for the losses of the past, but we'll have glorious future, and our posterity will be grateful to all of you and to all of us. So this is the time to act and act immediately. वो एक शेर, उठ बांध कमर क्या डरता है, फिर देख खुदा क्या करता है. मैं समझता हूँ कि ये वो मौका है कि जिसे आज पूरी कौम को इंतजार था. I will just highlight a few indicators that as compared to last year, our revenue collection is more than 28% than last year. And our GDP, tax ratio to GDP, which was 8.8% last year, today it is going to touch by 30th June, hopefully 10.4%. But although it is highest in the last 6 years, but it's a long way to go. We have to touch at least 15% if we have to have meaningful growth, development in the four nook and corner of Pakistan. My wonderful officers, I'd like to mention a few humble achievements this government has made in the last 14-15 months. Through our joint efforts, we have shown zero tolerance for corruption. And I'll cite you only one example. Federal Board of Revenue, less said the better. Right at the inception of my government, we changed, transferred officers at the highest level who are not delivering and had problems. I will not go into details. And they were replaced by people of more knowledge and respect. And that is why, and then every week I hold a review meeting of FBR in my office, every week. So as a result, in these 14 months, 28% is additionality to our revenue as compared to last year. For the first time in Pakistan's history, you are witnessing faceless interaction at Karachi port. And this model will be replicated in all other seaports and dry ports. Thirdly, these containers, they come in and they carry millions of tons of goods every year, but they were never scanned. Pakistan had enough resources to spend a few $1 million to import these scanners and scan these containers, and to significant reduction in smuggling. And again, I would say the credit goes to, in this particular case, mostly to Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir. To Afghanistan, we used to have smuggled sugar. I'm giving you one example of billions of rupees. This year, we have exported to Afghanistan sugar worth $211 million. Otherwise, this amount of sugar would have been, under normal circumstances, smuggled to Afghanistan, and not a dime would have been recovered and put in the exchequer. This is one shining example which can be replicated in every walk of life, every sphere of life. Again, what it demands the will to do. Otherwise, we have everything under the sun to convert this land into the most beautiful and most progressive land around the globe. Then, in power sector, there is massive leakage, pilferage, चोरी होती है बिजली 500 अरब रुपए की साल की. फिर वो IPPs, they have made their profits. This is the first time that these IPP agreements have been renegotiated. And coupled with other steps we have taken, Alhamdulillah, 2 months ago, I announced a respite of rupees 7 per unit in electricity tariff across the board. So these examples I have quoted here not to impress you, but for your kind consideration that this is how nation can be built by the grace of God. Then we are moving in crypto and blockchain technologies. We are fast moving towards motion of information technology, spending huge sums of monies to train our HR. For example, 1,000 agri engineers, fresh graduates from all the 4 provinces of Pakistan are being sent to China to acquire modern technology in the field of agriculture. Imagine Pakistan, an agrarian economy, and yet at times we are exporting wheat, at times we are importing wheat, at times we are exporting sugar, at times we are importing sugar. These are the challenges, and these challenges have to be met with full commitment, like I've just mentioned a few examples. Drop a few drops in the ocean, like drop by drop, it will become a flowing river by the grace of God. My dear officers, terrorism is another challenge. We have lost 90,000 great Pakistanis in the process. Are very brave soldiers, officers, civilians, doctors, engineers, mothers, sons, and politicians, doctors, scientists, all of them have paid huge price, human life, and we lost business economic losses of $150 billion over these decades. And I think there cannot be a bigger manifestation of our commitment to defeat this menace, which has resurged back in 2018 in KP, there in Balochistan, and sparsely some on other parts of Pakistan, again paying their lives to defeat this menace. And today again, you are standing before this menace, and inshallah, through your great efforts, inshallah, we will be able to overpower this scoundrel for all times to come, inshallah. Another 2 points on diplomatic front, alhamdulillah, our outreach is consolidating, and our traditional friends are, inshallah, are very well engaged with us, and partnerships in counter-terrorism, partnerships in investment trade, all these subjects are being discussed with them proactively. But let me say, a time-tested friendship with China, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey, Qatar, Iran, Azerbaijan, and other Central Asian states are growing even stronger as we are ready to build mutually beneficial trade, investment, and economic ties. China is the most time-tested friend of Pakistan. Saudi Arabia is one of the most reliable, trustworthy friend of Pakistan. And so are others, Turkey, Qatar, UAE. But let me make this point abundantly clear. They expect us now to engage them in trade, in commerce, innovation, research and development, education, health, investments, and profitable ventures, mutually beneficial. And they no more expect that we go there with a begging bowl. And I am the last person, along with Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, to carry this burden anymore on my shoulder, because it ultimately translates on the shoulders of this great nation. So what is the answer? The answer is pure and simple, that the natural resources, human resources Allah Almighty has blessed us with, we must make full use of it and deploy them for these very profitable ventures. And if we are able to defeat terrorism, if we are able to put the nation together, which is united like never before, and if we are absolutely clear in our vision that we have to promote export-led growth, we must not promote those idling units in Pakistan who are not making profits but having a rental business out of huge walls of imported tariff to give them protection. These are details, I'm not going into it. Suffice it to say that there is, sky is the limit for us to, alhamdulillah, be ready with these large investments. We are carving our path forward, our way forward on these lines. And one day soon, inshallah, if we really act on this way forward, a day will dawn soon, inshallah. Look at Japan and Germany. What happened in the Second World War? They were annihilated. During the Second World War, they lost their cities after cities. And then, with their iron resolve, they converted their defeat into hard work and untiring efforts. And within 60 years, 70 years, they have touched the zenith of glory through untiring efforts, through blood and through sweat. And today, Germany and Japan, they count amongst the first 10 most growing economies in the world. Why can't we be? I think it's a question we have to ponder over. And I can tell you, if we seriously and sincerely ponder over this question, the answer is loud and clear. जब अपना काफिला अज़्म व यकीन से निकलेगा, जब अपना काफिला अज़्म व यकीन से निकलेगा, जहाँ से चाहेंगे रास्ता वहीं से निकलेगा, वतन की मट्टी मुझे एड़ियाँ रगड़ने दे, मुझे यकीन है चश्मा यहीं से निकलेगा. This is how we have to move forward. There is no other way. Finally, I'd like to say, your journey is here as a continuation of a long legacy of your predecessors who held high the flag of Pakistan, not only in combat, but were also at the call of duty in times of floods, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. And more recently, and in this tenure, you have contributed immensely in all facets of nation building, including trade, economy, and investment. I also wish to honor the quiet strength in each one of you and your families who bear their own burden of sacrifices. The mother who sends her son to a freezing outpost, the wife who raises a family while her husband serves on the frontier, the child who grows up cherishing medals instead of memories. They may not wear the uniform, but their patriotism is embroidered in every thread of our national fabric. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude with a parting thought. You have chosen a path of selfless service, one that demands courage, fortitude, loyalty, and sacrifice. In your hands lie not just the safety and security of our borders, but the very ethos of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. May you always be guided by integrity, duty and faith. May your courage inspire generations to come, and may your outstanding service shine forever as a beacon of hope and pride for this great nation. May Allah Almighty protect you and our beloved homeland, Pakistan Zindabad.